Hey everyone, and welcome back to Jurassic World Evolution. Yeah, this is a video. I was still lacking to put that out, so you guys, I was still owing it to you. This is, as you can see, a time-lapse video today because I wanted to give you a little bit of a review of the Claire Deering DLC, which I have finally finished. Within the last couple of days, I had some private stuff to sort out, so this is the reason why I really couldn't get back into the game, and I just got stuck in the let's play videos, and I thought, okay, you know what, 2 weeks in, there's no need to make another let's play video, because this is kind of making videos for the sake of making videos, which I usually don't like to do, but I like to give you a proper somewhat of an ending here to the Claire Deering DLC. So as you can see in the end, or in the background, how I am tackling the whole thing at the moment. I think it's the mission number 2 out of 4 missions on Sanctuary Island, which is preparing for the paleobotany, I think it's how it's called. And I have to say, since this is really something that is becoming a lot more important in the future of Frontier games, I feel like this DLC has to be seen as a bit of a door opener to what we can expect in the future. So I have to say, out of everything I've played in Jurassic World Evolution, this was the most fun to me, honestly. I haven't been too happy about the overall career mode in Jurassic World Evolution in general, because it got a little bit boring after the end. You know, Dr. Wu was kind of okay-ish, but again, after an initial little bit of an excitement to it got a bit boring in the end as well. So, which is all, you know, take this all with still a little bit of a positive thing to it, because for me personally, I still like the game very much because of its visual stunning visuals. It's visually stunning visuals, whatever, because of its visuals. I think it has a lot of great elements to it, and if we may consider that there will be a somewhat of a successor for this game, I think the foundation at least is right. And now we are getting to the point where we have to talk about what really is important, and this is the way you do tackle the actual challenges and the actual scenarios. And I have to say that at the very beginning, I told you so in the first videos, that I wasn't too hyped for the Claire Deering DLC anyways. But I have to say, in the end, if I need to recommend this, I would fully recommend this. Because if you want to get Dr. Wu, if you don't have it yet, I don't know. You know, if you're into hybrids, potentially, yes. But if not, I don't know. But this one especially, I totally recommend. It was challenging. It was a lot of playtime, to be honest. Like, I had like seriously 3 hours, maybe 3.5, maybe even 4 hours going into the playthrough of the scenario, which is, considering the amount of money you spend to it, really nice. You get a lot of this new stuff with the paleobotany, which paleobotany, I guess it's called this way. You have a lot of new dinosaurs, as you can see over here, and it really gets a lot more into the game that is really important to make it feel a bit more complete, a bit more also original, so to say. It you know, with JPOC, for example, we had already a very, very good Jurassic Park-ish game in the past. Yes, the graphics didn't age well, but everything else about the game still is pretty good, I think. And so Jurassic World Evolution already in its own had a little bit of a hard time to kind of compete with this game. But now with the integration of these kind of things as the paleobotany, it definitely gets a lot more interesting here. And now let's talk a little bit about what you need to do in the Sanctuary mission. So if you haven't played it yet, first of all, you need to secure and rescue the dinosaurs from Isla Nublar. So there is a new Nublar level available, which you can also play as a challenge mode in the end if you want to. But as soon as you have kind of rescued the animals from the island, you will be setting up a new park, which is on Sanctuary Island, which is somewhat of the hideaway for the dinosaurs, which you have to take care of. And now the first lovely element of this new playthrough comes into play, which is you have to decide which kind of animals you want to take from Nublar, because coming to the new Sanctuary Island, you are missing all the great old things you had, for example, all the fossils and all the DNA you already extracted is basically gone. So you're starting not really entirely new. A lot of things are obviously available because you have researched them in the past, but all in all, you are at a point in time where you are in a position where you somewhat need to start over again, and you get some limitations. So for example, there is this lovely new thing, which is actually not lovely. It's like a really nasty thing, but it's a very cool gameplay element that makes the whole thing a bit more complicated than it was before. And this is the Hammond creation fee, which is basically a fee you do need to pay in the Sanctuary Island for basically get the approval to build and to do your stuff on the island. So you pay this fee, and the cool thing about this is it's not a fee that is kind of calculated by a percentage. It's calculated by the success of your park, and as soon as you've reached a certain amount, it won't get down again. So it gets raised, but it never goes down again. So that means the more successful your park is, you can't just go in as you would have done with the old parks, for example, and if you have enough money, for example, just delete everything and rebuild it again. This would be pretty dangerous on this island indeed, because if you have a very successful park, let's say where you are gaining again like a few millions per minute or whatever, it kind of is also a very high fee at this moment, because the fee somewhat always is somewhat around the amount of money that you're making per minute. So I had at the end, the last target you need to reach is I think it was a profit per minute of 500,000 or so, and the Hammond creation fee was around 400,000. So considering this, I had an overall win by nearly $1 million, but since you need to take away the Hammond creation fee, I only had 500,000 of profit left. So this is how it calculated. But the cool thing about this is that it gives you this bit more of a challenge, because in all the other parks, at a certain point in time, you just were earning so much money that you basically could solve every issue just by money. And this is not really, well, it still is the case on this island, but it took way longer to get there, and still you can't really fix everything. So for example, and now we need to talk about a bit more about the paleobotany, damn, what a word. And what is this? I'm sorry, I haven't really talked about that, but the thing is, your dinosaurs don't really like to eat only green leaves. Your herbivores do want to eat also something else. And now, as you have the new greenhouse, you can basically create actually extinct plants and bring them back to life again, to make sure that these animals can eat exactly these plants they used to eat millions of years ago, and you can put them in their enclosure. The problem is that not every herbivore does like the same plants. So some of the herbivores do prefer mosses, while other ones like to eat more palm tree leaves. And to make this even more of a bit of a complicated thing, the dinosaurs don't really know exactly what they eat. So dinosaurs, for example, the pachy, doesn't really like mosses. So for example, if you have a feeder in the enclosure where the pachy's are in that contains mosses, but also cycads, for example, that they love, they go and use this one, and they get a bad effect of this. And so you get another punishment, because your animal is getting sick and might even die from the wrong feeding. And so you always want to look into getting the right feeders with the right plants in it into the right enclosure. So this also makes the creation of bigger enclosures a lot more complicated, because this is why I really failed at the beginning. I needed to do this again, so you won't even see the very final design of this park in the video, because I then just didn't record this again because it took way too long. But my big mistake was that I was having this huge enclosure with all my herbivores in, because I just like that, right? I just like having these great kind of ecosystems within one enclosure. The problem being is, and you can see where I'm putting all these paleobotany feeders over here, the dinosaurs don't really share the same plants at all. So there are a few plants that have kind of a synergy effect, that kind of animals do share the same plants they like and basically share the same plants they hate, but still they have a bit of a different preference. So you can't really have them all in one big enclosure without running into danger that you will face animals that have a punishment because they ate from the wrong feeder. So what you need to do effectively is to build an enclosure for each herbivore itself to make sure that they're eating from the right feeder. Or the other thing you could do, and which is again showing off a little bit, I think it's actually showing off a little bit of the capabilities of the game itself, because of the herding that they introduced with one of the earlier updates. I think, was it this year or last year? I'm not entirely sure. But the herding actually helps you by creating gigantic enclosures. You really have to look into putting the planters exactly in the area where your animals are used to roam around. So for example, let's say your Paracephalus, whatever, you know, the para is living in the northern part of your enclosure. You really want to put that one feeder that is suitable for them also in the northern part, and you also want to put the other one for your Albertosaurus or whatever. Gosh, my pronunciation is so bad of these dinosaurs, even with not being able to read them. Yeah, this one would then go to the south, for example. But yeah, here you can see that I'm building the first time the very new Jurassic Tour. I think the coolest bit about the Jurassic Tour is not the tour itself, but I think it's the integration of the fact that you can go through multiple enclosures. And I feel like this is also kind of counteracting the problematic thing that you can't really have all these dinosaurs in one enclosure at the moment. I hope that they potentially change this, even though that this was really great in terms of the challenge. It's not really realistic, right? Because if you want to have like a gigantic Jurassic World or Jurassic Park where all the animals live in a free gigantic enclosure, it would be nice to allow them to all have their various feeder in there and make them clever enough to really only eat from the feeder that is suitable to them, because that kind of gets annoying otherwise. But anyways, I mean, for the sandbox mode you could just disable that and you're good to go. Again, I think also as a little bit of a review, the new scenery items, they are nice. They are not more. they do what they should do. They bring in a lot more versatility in making the enclosure looks nice and a bit more unique. But they're not the holy grail of creativity in this game. They won't change too much. It's nice that you have them. I don't want to get rid of them again because they really do their job. But there's a lot more room for improvement, and yeah, I hope they're willing to implement even more, because I feel like this is something that the game will benefit from quite a lot. But anyways, just to round this all off here, I think this DLC is really worth a try. It's a really good one. It's a lot of fun to play it. All the new integrations make sense. The new scenery items with the free update, anyways, you have them. They also make a lot of sense, and they hopefully are showing off the foundation of what will come into play in the end. And yeah, I can only say that I enjoyed playing the Declare Deering DLC quite a bit. It really brought me back into the game. I can also announce that I'm secretly working on something else, which is not a big thing, but I think it will be released next week. It's just a little bit of a experiment I had with the new tools we have. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this little bit of a review and the time lapse in the background, how I created my sanctuary island. And yeah, I hope you tune in for the next couple of videos about Jurassic World Evolution, but also about Planet Zoo and Planet Coaster and Parkitect and whatever. So have a great day and see you next time. Bye.